Welcome to Covert Core. Viewers, when we think about modern warfare, most people imagine fighter jets screaming across the sky or massive warships dominating the ocean. But one of the most dangerous threats today doesn't fly, and it doesn't sail on the surface. It hides beneath the water. Russian submarines have become one of NATO's biggest security concerns. These underwater vessels are quieter, more advanced, and more heavily armed than ever before. Some of them can carry long-range cruise missiles, others can deploy special forces, and many can operate undetected for weeks at a time. Classes like the Yasen, Akula, and Kilo are designed for stealth. They are built to gather intelligence, threaten shipping lanes, and potentially strike strategic targets from far offshore. And that's the problem. If you can't see the threat, you can't stop it. That's where the NH90 helicopter comes in. The NH90 NATO Frigate Helicopter, also known as the NFH variant, is designed specifically to hunt submarines. It acts as the eyes and ears of NATO warships. Because while ships have sonar systems, they're limited by their own position in the water. A helicopter changes everything. Instead of waiting for a submarine to come close, the NH90 can launch from a frigate or destroyer and fly miles ahead of the fleet. Once airborne, it can lower what's called a dipping sonar into the ocean. This allows it to actively search underwater from multiple locations in a short amount of time. Think of it like extending the ship's vision far beyond the horizon. And the NH90 doesn't rely on just one tool. It can deploy sonobuoys, small floating sensors that spread out across the water and listen for submarine activity. It also uses advanced magnetic anomaly detectors, or MAD systems, which can detect tiny disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field caused by large metal objects underwater. In simple terms, it hunts silently and listens carefully. If it finds a submarine, it doesn't just report back. The NH90 can carry torpedoes, giving it the ability to strike enemy submarines directly. This means NATO ships don't have to get dangerously close to a threat. The helicopter becomes a fast-moving hunter that can attack far beyond the ship's line of sight. Technologically, the NH90 represents a major generational leap. Unlike older helicopters such as the Sea King or Lynx, the NH90 was designed from the beginning as a fully digital, fly-by-wire aircraft. That means the pilot's controls are managed electronically rather than mechanically, improving stability and precision. It has modern glass cockpits, advanced mission computers, and integrated sensor fusion systems. All of this reduces crew workload and increases reaction speed in complex missions. But this helicopter didn't appear overnight. The origins of the NH90 go back to the 1980s. At that time, several European nations wanted to move away from relying entirely on American-built helicopters. They wanted something modern, digital, and designed specifically for NATO needs. In 1992, a consortium called NH Industries was officially formed. It includes Airbus Helicopters from France and Germany, Leonardo from Italy, and Fokker from the Netherlands. Together, they developed two main versions, a tactical transport helicopter for land operations and the NATO Frigate Helicopter for maritime missions. The NFH variant is the one that stands at the heart of NATO's anti-submarine warfare strategy today. But the story isn't perfect. The NH90 program has faced serious criticism over the years. Some nations have reported high maintenance requirements and difficulties with spare parts availability. These issues have affected readiness rates in certain fleets. In fact, Norway announced it would end its use of the NH90 and seek replacements due to operational frustrations. That raised questions across Europe. Was the helicopter too complex, too expensive to maintain? Despite the controversy, major NATO nations like France, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, and Belgium continue to operate and invest in the platform. For them, the advanced anti-submarine capabilities outweigh its logistical challenges, because the strategic environment is changing. We are now entering what many analysts call a renewed age of naval competition. Russian submarine patrols have increased in key regions like the GIUK Gap, the strategic corridor between Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom. This area is critical. During the Cold War, it was one of the main choke points NATO used to monitor Soviet submarines entering the Atlantic. Today, that mission has returned. The Baltic Sea has also become an area of tension, especially after NATO expansion and increased military activity in Eastern Europe. In these sensitive waters, surface ships are not enough. Submarines are designed to avoid detection. They operate quietly, often below thermal layers in the ocean that make sonar detection difficult. This is why airborne anti-submarine platforms are so valuable. The NH90 acts as a force multiplier. It allows a small number of ships to cover much larger areas of ocean. Instead of being tied to one position, NATO fleets gain mobility and flexibility. Helicopters can launch, scan, relocate, and repeat, making it much harder for submarines to operate undetected. In modern naval warfare, information is power. Knowing where a submarine is located, even briefly, can shift the balance of an entire region. The NH90 helps provide that information. And beyond pure defense, its presence sends a message. It shows that NATO is investing in maintaining control of the North Atlantic and Arctic sea lanes. It signals commitment to collective security, and it demonstrates that undersea threats will not go unanswered. So while fighter jets and warships often get the spotlight, the real silent guardian of NATO's maritime defense may be hovering just above the waves. The NH90 isn't just a helicopter, it's a strategic insurance policy, a digital hunter in an ocean of uncertainty. And in a world where threats often hide beneath the surface, having eyes in the sky may be the difference between dominance and vulnerability.